hope you're enjoying the free play program. This is hopefully a really exciting session. We're going to have some arguments if we do this right. This is a panel called Independence Day, and I'm not Phil Pullman, so this is a film. But I'll just read the briefs just so we know where we are. How can independents come up with earth-shattering ideas that change the face of gaming? What are the parameters of independent game making, and who are the innovators outside of the big publisher system? This session investigates innovation in independent game making and independent gaming today, and discusses where it might come from in the future. So this isn't just about where great ideas come from, it's that where they are so far and where they might come from in the future. So hopefully we're going to talk about trajectories. Now, the kind of structure that we're going to use is we're going to get everyone, all the speakers to speak 15 minutes. Then we're going to have a panel breakdown and ask questions of each other. And hopefully at the end we'll answer questions. My name is Christian McRae, I'm just the chair, so I'm just the maker lead. But I'll introduce our first guest, Paul Callaghan. His bio says he's the senior programming teacher at the Academy of Interactive Entertainment, which hopefully most of you know about.
Two rows of students actually here.
The Academy of Interactive Entertainment is a great facet of the Australian and the Melbourne gaming, I guess, culture, business. Basically a cornerstone, of which Paul Callaghan has been the senior programming teacher there for how long?
9 months.
9 months. Also worked at Melbourne House for a same buyout period. So, Paul, would you like to begin? We're going to just let you rant and at the end open questions. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a presentation, so.
Okay.
I don't quite know what's happening. Hey! Everyone hear me? Alright, cool. It's kind of weird having a microphone. I'm not used to this many people. Like Christian said, this is about independent gaming, independent development. What I really want to talk about, kind of separate from that, is about where ideas come from and innovation and that sort of thing, and where they're going to come from. Oh, was that me? I don't know. Maybe it was. So the first question you probably have in your head is why you should listen to me. And there's a very short answer to that, and the answer is that you probably shouldn't. Because I'm not really like Jonathan. I'm not kind of forging ahead, creating art. I'm not like Robert. I'm not kind of on the pulling a company behind me. I'm really just someone who spent a long time making games, who spent some time playing them, and who's thought about how they fit together, and who currently spends most of his day kind of just chattering about how they fit together and how to make them at school. I'm also a writer, and I'm really interested in kind of structure and how things fit together, so I'll probably refer to that as we kind of go, because there are a lot of parallels between that as a discipline and also ideas and creativity and stuff like that. Does this keep jumping forward, separate from me? Maybe it's a timing thing. Yeah, I think I've completely ruined my presentation. I'm just going to escape this for 2 seconds. This is obviously all cutting in to my thing. Anyone have any idea how to fix it?
Any PowerPoint ninjas in the
So what I want to cover, he says too close to the microphone, is what innovation means, kind of as a word, but also what its kind of core thing is. Because it's a word that gets bandied around a lot. And I want to kind of really hone in on what we're actually talking about. And I also want my PowerPoint fixed, but that might not happen. I also want to talk about what makes games unique and why we have this fixation on innovation. And it's probably because we're only about 25 years old rather than being hundreds of years old or even thousands of years old when you go back to the oral storytelling tradition. But I also want to talk about the dangers of innovation, why you shouldn't innovate. Because you can make a very strong argument for why it's just there may be profanity. I'll say that now. Why sometimes it's just a bad idea. And sometimes I can't help myself. And I had a Spider-Man joke, but it's funnier than the presentation. Where I was going to say that with great power comes with great responsibility. which is where you have to be careful. But at the end of the day, you get to be Spider-Man, so you get to go off, you get to swing around buildings, you get to kiss Mary Jane, and you also get to fight with tragic experiments gone awry. So even though you have to be careful with innovation, you can still make awesome stuff. You can still games are exciting. What this slide would say would be, what does innovation mean? When we kind of hear the word innovation, what are we actually talking about? Because everybody talks about, EA recently, the head of EA just kind of said that he wanted to foster more innovation. Alan Kataskan of EA Montreal, not EA, Ubisoft Montreal, said that Gears of War had zero innovation, which I agree with. And you constantly hear companies spouting off about things like original IP, newfangled control schemes, revolutionary technology, and it's all innovation, 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 innovation. Right? It's become a marketing word. It's become something completely hollow. I got like a whole army of people just coming down here to try and fix my fuck up. All we're really talking about when we say innovation, is that it? Are you sure? Alright. What we're really talking about when we say innovation is little things in PowerPoint that show you the things at the right time, so you don't have to click. Alright. So we're really just talking about ideas. That's all we're talking about. We're just talking about new ideas. We're not talking about anything clever. It's not something amazing. That's all that it is. And we're also talking about working within the space of the medium and working within the strengths and the weaknesses of the medium, because games are like every other kind of creative expression medium. They have their own strengths and weaknesses. Just to kind of give you an example of what I mean by that. Prose, and I'm just going to read straight from this because I can't remember, does things like personal communication well, communication directly from the author to the reader, but it requires a bit more of imaginative effort on the part of the audience, and it also only indirectly engages senses and indirectly engages emotion. Film is a far more collective experience, and also is an experience that requires less effort on the audience, and it directly engages senses, but it still only indirectly engages emotion. Games are kind of unique, and they directly engage senses, and they also directly engage emotion. But at the same time, they're less of a guided experience than probably prose or films are. So each of them have pros and cons, but what that does mean is that you can do things in a game that you can never, ever, ever do in a film or a book. An example that I have here is from Katamari Damacy. I'm assuming everyone's at least seen it, if not played it. Ultimately, one of the things that Katamari Damacy does is it gives you this incredible desire to please the king of the cosmos, even though he's a complete bastard. He is. He treats you like shit right the way through the game. He says you're never ever good enough, but you still want to please him. It's not you're not engaging with the little avatar. You actually want to please him as an individual, as a person, which is something that you could never have done in a film or a book. And it's really kind of cool and exciting. Other examples, kind of Ico as well. The emotional connection you have with Yorda. It's you and Yorda. It's not a character. It's pronounced Yorda, isn't it? Yeah, good. And that's one of the things that makes games really exciting, because you have this enormous space that you can potentially explore. And it's huge, exciting, and largely uncharted at this point. We're only really 25 years into video games as a medium. You know, prose has what, 200 years, 300 years, 500 years? The novel really only has about 200 to 300 years. Film only has about 100 years behind it. No, that's more. I'll confuse myself. Anyway, it's young. And I kind of just want to show, like, within that space, the kind of the variation that you have to innovate. So using just a controller and a console and the same basic display hardware, you can make Katamari Damacy, or Bioshock, or Shadow of the Colossus, or Zelda, or Pokemon, or Resident Evil, or Tetris, or Puzzle Bobble, or Street Fighter, or SimCity, or Viva Pinata, or Command & Conquer, or Grand Theft Auto, or Madden, or FIFA, or Need for Speed, or Final Fantasy, or Spider-Man. All very different games with very different experiences. And like other mediums just don't have that. They're really just kind